Oh, hey, didn't see you there. How's it going, everybody? A lot of stuff's been coming up this week, and we have a
Big
very
week.
special
Big
episode for
week.
you guys. Now, before we get into the bulk of what we got, we have content before content. So,
Oh,
Matt, give me
baby.
the content before we give the content of the content.
Big news.
Huge.
Marvel finally gave us a release date for Loki.
Doesn't make
Not even July. We're getting June 11th.
Wait a minute.
June
Wait a minute, man.
11th.
I'm doing the calcs right now
Let
on
me
it.
with the calcs. Yeah,
June 11th is not a Friday.
that's weird.
What's going on there?
What's going on there? What day
You
is
have that?
that? What day is that?
I think it's a Wednesday.
Wednesday. It's a hump day, right?
I think not that Wednesday.
No, no, no. The next one, though. That's a big one.
Now, are they avoiding Friday the 13th?
I have to say, that's a good point. I almost feel like it would make sense to have it on Friday the 13th.
That's for a Loki show.
For a mischief show?
God of Mischief.
That's important. God, emphasis on the God. Um. Anyways,
What are we gonna do before that, though?
we'll think about it, right? This has been a great year to be a Marvel fan. I think we had WandaVision,
One of the best.
great show, funky, freaky. We had about a week off in between. Then we had the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which was great. Uh, and now what? What is there? We have a month to spare.
I
What's
don't think it's
that?
Marvel. I think it's Star Wars.
Ooh, we talking Star
What's
Wars?
Star Wars coming out with now? It's gotta
What we
be cheap.
got? What's on the block?
You know what? I think it's the Bad Batch of clones.
It's a bad batch.
Now, don't get it twisted. It's not a bad batch of cookies. It's a bad batch of
It's a
clones
bad batch.
made on Camino.
Oof.
So
Oof.
you wanna name them? You want me to name them?
Hit me with what you got.
I'll give you five of them.
Please.
We got Hunter.
Hunter.
He is the leader, enhanced senses. And then we got Wrecker. He's the big guy. He wrecks things. The Brawn.
He's a
Next
man.
up, Beck. The pilot. Smart guy. Losing his hair. He's got glasses. Next thing, Echo. He was previously introduced in the Clone Wars series, captured, and then reprogrammed as like a cyborg kind of thing, which is sick. And then last we have Crosshair. Their sniper. Crosshair, line of sight.
Yeah, so for anybody watching who is not super familiar with this, uh, the Bad Batch of clones were introduced in the Clone Wars series. I think probably, I want to say like 2 or 3 years ago. Um, I think we always knew from that episode that they were going to get their own spotlight. And so here we are now. They have their own show. The first two episodes came out in the last like week and a half or so. Um, yeah, very cool stuff. Um, I think what was pretty cool was that we started off with Order 66, which, as like a Star Wars fan, you love to see that crap. It's just like it's the epitome of Star Wars, I think. Um, so it was cool, kind of seeing like the Bad Batch versus almost like versus the regular clones, the regs, but like seeing all the clones turn on the Jedi, and of course, a wonderful cameo from
Huge.
from who? Who was that?
We got a little bit of Kanan from,
Oof.
from Rebels, also known as Caleb.
Yeah.
And we see his master and where they are in the middle of battle during Order 66, right when it opens up. They do a
Yeah.
great
So
job.
super cool kind of little callback there. If you've watched Rebels, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Nick, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't go into detail about what happened. He just talks about what happened. Like he always kind of hints at is the clones turn on him and his master,
That's right. And
and we
he does
never
not.
get like a full breakdown of what happened.
All we get is someone asks him, "What's the last thing your master said to you?" And it's run. And he's right. The last thing that his master, blanking on the name now, said to him was Caleb run. But what's also interesting is that they kept the same voice actor from Star Wars Rebels. And that's like a 30 to 40-year-old man, and this guy's a Padawan, so you assume he's like maybe 15 years old. So I'm wondering if we're going to see him again, or that he just did a great job as a voice actor on Rebels, and they just kept him on
It would be
board.
cool to see him again. I don't know how they would do it though. It would be
Yeah, it
tough.
would have to be over a couple of years, and I
Yeah.
mean, it'd be interesting to see how the Bad Batch grows over time.
We get that really cool scene in the forest, kind of where Hunter and Crosshair like chasing him down, and like Hunter's
Right.
trying to figure out what's happening, and Crosshair, I like that they sort of imply that that his inhibitor chip is like sort of working, but not entirely.
Yes.
and so he's trying to comply with the order, and Hunter is just trying to figure out what's happening. He ultimately tries to save this
Yeah.
kid.
We should give the basis that their kind of mutations have left their inhibitor chips just malfunctioning.
Yeah,
And so they don't get the order to execute, so they feel no need to order the execution.
yeah, for sure, 100%. And so like the last kind of scene we see there with Kanan is his force jump across this massive waterfall. Um, and
Beautiful.
what?
Beautiful. I mean,
Oh, gorgeous, just gorgeous. Gray hair, gray legs. Like, come on. No. So we see him kind of force jump his way across, and Hunter look after him, and Crosshair kind of knows that he let him go. Um, and we sort of see this friction building in the squad because, as it seems like, only Crosshair is being affected by the inhibitor chip. Hunter, Wrecker, and Tech, theirs aren't working, and we know that uh, Echo, I think it's Echo, right, is the one who already had his removed.
yeah, that's right.
Um, so it's kind of cool to see that interaction. And then there's like this whole introduction to like the Empire, I think, which was pretty cool to see.
Yeah,
When they get back to Camino.
that's right. And clearly there are a lot of clones over there. And Tarkin makes an appearance.
So
And
cool.
he's already like as soon as Order 66 happens, a couple hours later, the man's on Camino, already talking to the Prime Minister and saying that they're trying to stray away from clones, saying that they don't need them
I always
anymore.
wondered if some people knew about the Order prior to it being enacted.
How
And
many?
yeah, like you always like it isn't it kind of weird how fast he's there?
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys that's high enough.
Maybe, yeah.
But definitely some of the officers. I mean, there's probably no point in telling that many people because word can get out. And I mean, does he even know that Emperor Palpatine is a Sith Lord? It, have we ever? I guess we have seen them in Episode 5 together.
Yeah, maybe.
Beyond that, though, it's interesting to see them in the training squad. And
Oh
Tarkin
yeah,
wants
that
to
was
see
a very very cool scene, I
if the
think.
clones are worth keeping. At least this batch of clones, this bad batch of clones, and he has their guns set to like the lowest maximum power, and he has the drones set to the maximum, and they're still able to get out of the problem, which is great. All
Go
the
on.
while, all the while, they kind of get put in jail afterwards because they're not following the orders too well, and they're kind of getting scanned, and they're trying to figure out like what happened to these guys, why aren't they following the orders? And there's a lot of tension between Hunter, the leader, and Crosshair because Crosshair wants to execute the order. He keeps saying good soldiers follow orders, and like you said, his inhibitor chip seems to be working well enough
Yeah,
to
yeah.
make him want to kill the Jedi. And so they go in, they take him out of the that little prison cell, right? And they kind of activate it. They maximize its power, they maximize the frequency, and then he follows it. But we don't see him again until the Bad Batch escapes, along with their new friend Omega, which we will get into in a couple minutes.
Yep.
And they're in the hangar bay of where their ship is, and Echo is trying to kill his brothers that he trained with, his brothers that he's been with for years, I'm sure at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think like that. We may have kind of skipped over one part, which was just like the cameo of Saw Gerrera, which I think was pretty cool, but
Mhm.
not really critical, but like very cool. But you're totally right. Like it's crazy how they've set up Crosshair to be like this villain now. Um, I think it speaks a lot to like the way these clones like kind of operate, and like, it's almost against like their free will to a certain extent, right? It's like this order goes down, like they have to follow it.
Yeah.
Um, and like you mentioned, like they have Tarkin kind of pull Crosshair away and like turn up his like enhance his hit inhibitor chip,
Mhm.
um, and he like goes full on Empire.
Yep.
Um, and they have like this whole like shootout where like Crosshair is trying to legitimately like kill and destroy his brothers, his family, which is crazy to see after kind of what we know they've been through, especially like all the way back to the Clone Wars.
That's right.
Um, and then finally, this little sucker comes out of nowhere and saves the day.
Okay.
This little sucker.
Okay. What's the sucker's name?
Omega.
Omega, the last letter of the alphabet, I think.
So, initial thoughts on Omega. Hit me. What do you got?
Great accent. I mean, I wish I sounded like that.
Where does she get the accent from if she's been on Camino the whole time?
It's great. Maybe that's why she's part of the Bad Batch now.
It's just the accent.
It's just the accent. There's no other powers. But in all seriousness, I do think that she has some type of force sensitivity, and maybe she can tell the future a little bit better and be able to sense things well. Because I don't think there's another reason for leaving her in the show for more than 2 episodes.
Yeah, I. They have a lot of options, I think, to go with her. I know one like kind of theory online is that she might be force sensitive, like you
Mhm.
mentioned, which opens up a lot of doorways to kind of what ifs and theories.
Yeah, right.
Um, and like she kind of has this moment of clairvoyance in the first episode where she knows something bad is going to happen with Crosshair and kind of like the family.
Yep.
Um, so that's one option for sure. I was thinking that because she spent so much time around droids that it might be like droid related, but
Okay.
that kind of is covered already with Echo and Tech. So I'm not sure
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
they got that side of it.
Um, but now they have this whole new dynamic with the family, with the Bad Batch. It's these these warriors and like one little kid.
Right. It's very funny, and
Yeah,
she
it
is a
changes
clone.
everything,
She is a defected clone that came out as female.
which is
So
rare, which is maybe the only one, right?
it must be the only one that we know about, right? And we see her in the trailers get a some type of bow and arrow, so we know that she's up for the fight. And I'm very excited to see what they do with her. But I know you noticed something, maybe like a correlation between her and the earlier stages of Ahsoka. I don't know if you were willing to share that today.
Yeah, I think one thing I also wanted to mention was, and it may come up later in the series, is we know that one of the Kaminoans, uh, sort of like helps them escape,
Oh, that's right. That's a huge point. I
which
glossed
is a
over.
big point, I think.
I wonder
Um,
what her or his, hard to tell,
it
motives
is hard to tell, yeah.
are.
Yeah,
What would
it
make
almost
her?
it almost seems
Yeah,
like Omega was more of like a child, like a daughter to the Kaminoans there.
yeah, always right by their side. And if she's
Yeah,
straight away, she'd get in
and I
trouble.
think it almost felt like that she was trying to like let her escape and get out and like just like be free.
Yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see if there's some kind of like solution, or not even solution, just like repercussions to her actions.
yeah. See if there's any closure to that.
Yeah, and if like, we know in the movies, I believe that the Empire stops using clones, right?
Eventually.
So that may happen like in the next episode or two. They finally start decommissioning clones.
Oh yeah.
Um,
So
so
we
that'll
see
be
what they
cool
do.
to see. Yeah, and
Are they still gonna care about killing Jedi or not?
oh, I don't know. That's interesting. Um,
Maybe there's a way to get their chips out really easy.
yeah, I'd be surprised though. I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Um, what else? Oh, so as you may recall, back when the initial Clone Wars released, uh, Ahsoka Tano was just kind of like the new character that they introduced, and um, they introduced her more of like as almost like, I mean, I'm gonna put it bluntly, she came across a little bit of annoying like little kid that didn't really fit in with the universe that much, and I think that the creators took that to heart when they heard that criticism online, and really changed and focused more on the character arc for Ahsoka. And like now she's grown into kind of what she is, like a full, almost like Jedi, master to a certain extent, a
For the
character that
balls.
we love in Rebels and in the Clone Wars that has her own like path to her, um, and even really in the Mandalorian too, right? Like she pops up for a little bit, um, though arguably underpowered in that TV series, but whatever. Um, so I'm curious. I haven't really looked online, but I would not be surprised if the feedback for Omega was similar to the initial feedback for Ahsoka Tano. So I'm very hopeful they have a correct, or maybe appropriate is a better word, appropriate character arc for Omega. So eventually she can kind of come into her own and like whole and like be a full fledged Bad Batch member as opposed to more of like a like kid on board. And I recognize it's kind of part of like the story arc for her is like
Yeah,
growing up and like
gotta start somewhere.
yeah, like for instance, like one of the scenes she has is like her leaving the ship for the first time and stepping down on like the dirt, and her being like, "Wow, like this is dirt, like this is incredible," and she's like
Kicking
showing him
around
like
dirt,
yeah, and like
kicking dirt.
yeah, it's dirt. So it's kind of in one sense cool to see like them or like her experience something like completely new and like so simple that we take for granted.
Hmm.
But I'm also a little bit worried that she may not deliver as a character because of it. I don't
Definitely
know how
some,
you feel about that.
definitely some setbacks there, and it seems like she is always screwing up, but then she accidentally saves the day, or she knows what she's doing, and then the guys don't trust her because I mean she's a kid,
You
right?
know, it's almost Jedi-like in a way.
Yeah, a little bit. And there were opportunities to get her off the show by boarding that ship in episode two, but she's in there for the long haul, and I think that she's going to live through this series, and we'll see her again.
You think so? You think she lives through the whole series?
I think so. I don't see
Actually,
a.
you know what? I don't know if they allow this on Disney Plus when they kill children. So you're probably right.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
That's true. But moving forward in the series, not just about her, who do you think we're going to run into? Because we've got a couple of bad guys that are still around, not just the Empire, right? And a couple of good guys as well.
so I will note that in the second episode they did mention Rex. That they like just missed Rex, right? So I
Yes,
can definitely see a world where they meet Rex again, and he sort of explains, like how widespread this is and what's happening,
right.
and they kind of go their separate ways.
Okay.
Um,
Because they don't end up together in Rebels.
exactly, yeah. Like as far as we know, they're not existent in Rebels at the
Yeah.
time. So I think the best intuition there is that either they passed away or they're in hiding, right? So what I think may happen is they may sacrifice themselves in some extent um, for Rex at some point. That could be kind of cool. I think as a
Yeah.
story.
Cool.
Um, I also think that there's a chance, depending upon how they want to play it, of introducing like some of the gangs that Darth Maul is involved with. Because we know that the Kenobi story is coming out soon, and obviously that'll be live action, but still it'd be kind of cool to see like that intertwined
Yeah.
connectivity.
That's
How about
right.
you? Anybody you think that might be popping up in this?
I think so. And on the end of the Empire, I think that we're going to see some high up characters above Tarkin. I don't know if it would be Thrawn or I don't know if it would be Vader, but I think it'd be interesting to throw them into the mix again, maybe toward the later episodes when we see what's going on the Empire side of things, because I don't think we'll get much more of that in moving forward besides directly towards the Bad Batch.
I could see them coming out uh, and encountering Vader to a certain extent. Maybe from afar, or kind of like trying to cut him down but failing.
Yeah, or maybe
Uh,
being on the same ship he's on, and then they just miss each other.
yeah, that could work out. Uh, and I guess Anakin does know who they are, right?
They do. He has met them right before Order 66.
Yeah. So I mean that there's an option there to meet and cross paths.
Mhm.
Um, but I'd be hard pressed to kind of see a world where they survive their encounter.
What about any Inquisitors, or do you think it's too
Okay, how
early?
about this? I have an idea. If it turns out Omega is Force sensitive and Darth Vader tries to chase her down, do you see a world where the Bad Batch sacrifices themselves
To
for
save her?
Omega?
I think so. I think this episode two was a lot of family, and you see cut from a previous season of the Clone Wars, and he's a clone that not escaped, but I mean he went rogue. I mean he started a family, he has kids now, and you get to see the Omega interaction with his kids, and I think this episode is going to go a long way. I don't think it's just a filler episode. I think that we're going to see them kind of look back and be like, oh, this is like our kid. We're going to protect her because we're soldiers and she's our family. And they can overlap. It's not like family soldiers, there's an overlap in there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think they're gonna build the idea of family so much, and then they will rip it out from you at the very end.
Yeah. Which I think would be a really,
Awesome
really cool move.
and sad, but awesome mostly.
Sad, obviously, but we didn't know we had him until we saw him. So it would make sense if they go.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think I'm super excited to kind of see where the season goes and where they want to take this.
Yes.
I know there are a lot of Star Wars kind of films and TV series coming out in the next couple of years, which I know you're super excited to cover. I am as well.
No doubt.
Um, from Ahsoka to more Mandalorian to Obi-Wan, like, come on.
We are going to be busy, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to put out more content and kind of help, and hopefully people, disagree or agree with us and are happy to kind of like and comment and subscribe where they want
Yeah, I
and
like
voice
hearing.
their opinion. Um, as always, you can find us on Spotify, among other places to listen to our podcast.
Right.
We're out, we're out there, we're out and about. Throw us on when you're going for a walk, going for a run, whatever.
Right.
If you want to hear about Star Wars, Marvel, DC, etc., like we'll be around. We're here to stay.
Comment if you want to hear anything specific as well. I mean, we're very flexible. I mean, Matt can do a split.
That's not right. That's not
That,
true.
was, that wasn't you. I got it twisted.
That was a different Matt.
Matt. Don't know a lot of Matt, so that's all right.
Yeah, that's all we got here from Heroes of the Couch. As always, thanks for tuning in. We
Take
will
care of
see you
yourself.
guys later. Bye bye.